What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook Preview Show. It is Memorial Day weekend here, which means we have a Monday day slate for all of you who are maybe having your Memorial Day cookouts on Monday. You don't have you have work off maybe. You're inside. You're playing a little day baseball. MLB DFS here with us. Our guy Henry Wilson will have that playbook out nice and early for all of you, and we have our preview show for this 7-game slate starting at 1:10 p.m. Eastern time. Grande, are you a cookout guy? Do you go to cookouts? Do you plan cookouts? Like, what's your typical like Memorial Day events here?
Do you see me on the screen?
I do.
Okay, so this chair that I'm sitting in, is usually where I'll be.
Okay.
I mean, social events are on a thing of the past, John.
Okay.
I enjoy you guys, the company that we spend on this beautiful podcast and this wonderful family that we have here. I will just be at home with my family while they have all the fun and we work.
Sure.
So
I like to pretend that I'm at a cookout. Like, I'll grill a hot dog for myself, like enjoy some of the, crack open a drink, maybe a nice cold Pepsi Max or something like that.
Pepsi Max was your first choice?
Yeah, really get, just really go after it, have a wild time.
Well, also your laptop is on this hand while you're also like cooking your hot dog.
Yeah, the other day, my wife asked me why I was watching my phone and the game at the same time. I said, no, this is a different game. I'm watching Gamecast for one game, obviously, and I'm watching the Red Sox game on the television.
Yes.
You got to track your in-play runs here. So
that's your move. Your move.
Exactly. So, anyways, we have 7 games to talk about here. Maybe you guys will be at a cookout. Maybe you won't be. Garrett Crochet, Jacob deGrom, your top 2 price guys up over $10,000. Clay Holmes, Kevin Gossman in the 9K tier. Crochet, interesting note from his last start that nobody knew.
Including Garrett
Crochet. This was literally determined by Alex Cora and the management team, and they told nobody else. He was lifted after 85 pitches intentionally. That was going to be his cap for that game because he had gone over 100 pitches in each of the last 2 outings, and apparently he's like throwing the most pitches in baseball, I guess, this season as well. And it's like his first full year as a starter, and they just gave him like $200 and something million. So that is a scary proposition. I would imagine reporters pregame will ask Alex Cora if Garrett Crochet now has a pitch limit, and maybe we'll get that information. Otherwise, full systems go here with Garrett Crochet against the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee here at 10-3. And then Jacob deGrom, we doubted you at one point earlier this season.
Yes, sorry. We are very sorry.
You are all the way back, it seems. 7 innings against the Yankees, 9 strikeouts, had 10 Ks against Detroit. Houston, 8 shutout, him and Hunter Brown in that pitcher's duel, 7 strikeouts there. Now he has Toronto at home. We've known Toronto, that offense is really yet to launch quite yet. Vladdy had a homer the other day. They have some guys here and there, but for the large part, a lineup you can attack, especially if you're someone like Jacob deGrom. So on this slate, spending up for the top 2 pitchers, I do think is going to be probably a need for your lineups. I think you're going to need to get one of those 2 guys potentially as a top scoring options. There are some pitching matchups in the mid-tier that are interesting. We'll certainly talk about them, but we're kind of in the middle. Some teams have their top starters. Some teams have their bottom starters on this slate here.
I think this is interesting because agreed on the Crochet point, but if you were to get, like, if I knew Garrett Crochet was 10 or pitching without restriction, he's obviously as good as anyone at baseball.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then deGrom's the number 1 starter with a bullet, right? It's pretty simple there.
Yeah.
Like if there's any limitations, deGrom's your top spend. Crochet's still fine because he can have 10 strikeouts in 5 innings and 85 pitches. Like that's in the cards. Yeah. But I think the next 3 names are also like all interesting and
Sure.
maybe matchup based. Clay Holmes has the White Sox. The Clay Holmes stuff hasn't been as fruitful as it was earlier in the year. I mean, he looked great out of the gates, especially in the strikeout department. Um, the strikeouts have not been playing as much as they were earlier in the year. Still going deep into games, 6 innings and 4 straight starts. Now, Boston, the Cubs, and the Cardinals were 3 of those matchups. So,
Yep.
not the easiest strikeout spot. This is a good strikeout spot. So, I could see the strikeouts being elevated here for Holmes. Gossman coming off in an absolute dominant start against the
Yeah.
we've talked about that a couple times lately, how bad the Padres have been. But it is really high ceiling, low floor with Gossman. We've seen -7 fantasy points and 36 as a ceiling twice. Like that is a 43 point discrepancy. So I like Gossman against a bottom 10 offense in Texas. Texas does have some pieces, mainly Jake Berger because the Pope.
Yeah, I do. Burger homered again. Yeah.
Berger homered again. But Texas is still ranking bottom 10 in basically every category against righties. And then, like, the strikeouts haven't been great for Jameson Taillon, but he has a great matchup, like
Sure.
the best matchup, like the absolute nuts for the Rockies, who played basically a 7-hour game on Sunday because the
Yeah.
rain delay, to almost come back and lose. Again, haven't won a series. They're now 0-20, I think, in series this
Oh,
year.
dude, they almost beat the Yankees.
Almost beat the
2 to
Yankees.
3. Yeah.
almost beat the Yankees 2-3. Didn't and had to play baseball for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Or be in their uniforms for 7 hours, right?
And now travel to Chicago.
And now travel to Chicago against like pretty good pitcher, not like anything elite, but like good pitcher who can pitch deep into games.
Ceiling matchup for Taillon.
Ceiling matchup for Taillon. So I think there is legitimate case to be made for all 5 of the top guys, and I can't fault you if you want to just pick 2 pitchers from this range and move on.
Yeah, I think it's based on what you're saying. I would rather pick one of the 210K, and then, like you said, probably Taillon is where I was gonna consider going. I'm not gonna say the White Sox are an offense that are getting better.
They are. No, you could say that. They're getting better.
But like this weekend, if you kept throwing Rangers at them and you kept losing, basically, right? Like, you know,
Corbin was good. Corbin was good.
Corbin was good for Corbin because he was $6,800.
Yeah.
Molly did not pay off his price tag on Friday, and Leiter struggled on Saturday. So, and then you go look, and again, they're better. They're still a 20th ranked offense in the last 2 weeks against right-handed pitching, but only a 20% strikeout rate, a 150 ISO, like 247 batting average. Like those are, respectable-ish numbers. They actually made roster moves. They sent Andrew Vaughn down to AAA, so maybe they're trying to improve slightly here. So I'm not saying Clay Holmes isn't going to go out there and dominate. Certainly can. I'd rather take my chances with Taillon here at $8,600 and go with the DeGrom or a Crochet up at the top in the pairing there. Because once you go down below, I mean, Birdsong gets Detroit. Birdsong looked good in that first start. We weren't sure what the pitch count was going to be. Got to 80 pitches and got moved. But Kansas City's Kansas City. Detroit is Detroit. This is a different offense. A bunch of lefties that Birdsong's going to have to deal with there at $7,800. Again, a lot of talent with Hayden Birdsong. We think he can be a good pitcher. I'm worried about the spot. Michael Lorenzen, again, Cincinnati, a team that you've been able to beat. Lorenzen, a team that has a pitcher that has generally pitched well this year. Yeah, but unexciting, $7,700. Like, he doesn't really strike many guys out. He does have a 7 strikeout game recently against Boston. I don't know. Like, Nick Martinez and Michael Lorenzen are almost the same guy to me, sort of. Like, they're getting quality starts. All their peripheral numbers suck. Like, so I don't know. The mid-tier to me is fairly unexciting. Where, like, do you have a target, I guess, below Taillon that you feel good about?
Good about? No. I mean, I think you are spot on with basically everything you said. Birdsong, talented pitcher, probably not the spot. Also just depends. Detroit has had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup. I think they're like looking for spots to get players days off because Carpenter had a day off. I mentioned when we were talking on Friday's stream with Slade Caccone. I pitched Caccone on that night. Had 6 innings, 1 run. So like we'll see if they're full strength. That's a tough spot for Birdsong. But I agree on your Lorenzen Martinez spot. I think one of those pitchers would probably end up being really good because they're good, boring pitchers, right? Good, hard work. They're like farmers, dude. They're like good, hardworking dudes, right? Like not gonna be flashy. They're not out there. Like they're doing their honest work. They're getting their 6 innings and they're taking the shower and they're going home, right? That's what Michael Lorenzen and Nick Martinez are. And look at that. They're in Kansas City, in the Midwest. Like, look, it's perfect. The Farmer reference could have been better. I think they're fine. I mean, Kansas City's a terrible offense. Cincinnati, we've largely have thought they were bad outside of like 3 explosions this year. They've been underwhelming for the most part. And that was kind of apparent when they started the year with Austin Hayes and Gavin Lux as their 4 or 5
So those two guys have actually been okay. I think what was killing them was the month and a half of Matt McLain in the 2-hole.
And Blake Dunn in the 2-hole before that.
Like they have Santiago Espinal there, but he's at least performing better than Matt McLain was doing. They had the slight insurgence of productivity from Will Benson, who homered in 4 straight games at one point here. I would say the one thing that Lorenzen might be able to benefit from was, again, he had been a reverse splits pitcher. Lefty, he was getting every lefty out that he faced last year. I forget if those numbers had regressed on him or not. But if they haven't, we do know that the Reds do put out a pretty lefty heavy lineup. And could again put a pretty lefty heavy lineup against him. So what do those numbers look like?
Nothing's changed. 164 ISO, 318 WOBA for lefties. Righties, 219 ISO, 340 WOBA. So much better right.
Yeah, I mean last year he had a 150 batting average and a 260 slugging and a 240 WOBA against left-handed hitters. So like really shut them down. This year again, still good numbers, not nearly as dominant, but you're going to get Friedel, you're going to get Lux, you're going to get Ellie from the left side. You're going to probably get Will Benson in the lineup. You're going to have a bunch of lefties in that lineup that maybe Michael Lorenzen does go out and kind of like shut down. But then like, what's your expectation? 20 fantasy points ceiling? Like, I don't think he's going to go out there and give you the 27 you got out of Boston here.
Yeah, you need a win, and you need a win too. I don't know. I'm just Lorenzen and Martinez they literally are the same pitcher.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. You flip a coin. Kansas City maybe is a slight favorite.
Minus 120. Lorenzen minus 120. Lean on the under at 8.5 runs.
And even Lorenzen 387, 377 ERA. 407 expected ERA, 411 FIP. Like this is just who he is, right? Like
who he is,
Nick Martinez. I feel like I used him in our league the other day just as a streamer option. 6.7 1K per 9 is pretty gross, but 349 expected ERA, 343 ERA, 399 xFIP. Another guy that just like is who he is. Not a big home run guy, under a homer per 9 for each of the last 3 seasons. So keeps the ball in the ballpark. I don't know. I think you're right. I think if you're picking one of those, you probably end up with 17 fantasy points from the winner, and maybe that's enough for you.
Good, honest SP2 score, right? Like just solid work.
Yeah. Baltimore back at home. We're waiting for the wheels to fall off Eric Fetty. It did a little bit against Detroit there. 2 homers, 4 earned, 5 hits allowed in 5 innings. Baltimore's offense, I mean, dude, against right-handed pitching, it's pretty good. Jackson Holiday leading off. Rhino Hearn's been really good for them.
Awesome. Dude, he's been awesome. He has been awesome.
So, Fetty probably in a little bit of trouble. We don't pitch Kyler Montero. Adrian Hauser, we didn't know what to do with him when he
it looks
randomly
so bad. It looks so bad. Have you looked at the peripherals?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, he signed that day, took him on 6 shutout innings.
6 shutout, yeah.
Again, not going to pitch him against the White Sox. I mean, the Mets, anyways. Morton's probably one of the worst pitchers on the slate, and then you have Palmquist. So
Morton's actually was pitching fine out of the bullpen.
You're going to start him against St. Louis, though?
No. I just hilarious that he's been good, and they're just actually let's try you again as a starter. It's no.
Well, they have nobody else.
That's fair.
So,
that's fair.
All right, so that's pitching here again. I think you pick one of Crochet, DeGrom, and then probably pair him with Tyon is where I would most likely go here. Or you're coin flipping Lorenzo Martinez, and whatever one you think wins that game is where I would go.
3,700, by the way, if you do the Crochet DeGrom pairing, you could probably make that work as well.
Yeah, definitely can make that work. I mean, we're going to talk. I mean, I don't know what the Marcelo Mayer price is. It was $3K on Sunday. $3K again. I mean, you just plug that against Patrick. So, all right, catcher. A lot of good options you can go to here. Obviously, if you're looking to spend up, they're going to be harder to do.
He's $5,700.
Yeah, he stole a bag today too. I don't know if you saw what Reese McGuire did today.
I did.
But apparently it doesn't matter if you're a Cubs catcher. You just have the power bat. Amaya's on the IL. Kelly gets scratched. Reese McGuire, 2 homers in his debut. So, probably, I got nothing. I was gonna make a joke, but we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, look it up. You can just look it up.
You can look it up.
John was going for it.
I was gonna do it, but you know what? PG-13 show. Stevenson's 39. Carlos Narvaez is hitting cleanup right now.
Gotta look at it. Also stole a base.
Also stole a bag. Uncontested steal today. I watched that. Duran was on third, and they just didn't want the double steal. So they just let him take second.
Yeah, he's not stealing again, but he does have a chance to hit fourth.
He is going. He will hit cleanup. He's going to hit cleanup as long as he's in this game. He will hit cleanup. Again, Francisco Alvarez, $3,400. Salvi's $32. Some good options, obviously in the mid range, and there'll be value, I would imagine, when these lineups come out for me or something like that down at the bottom here.
Yep.
First base, 7-game slate. Pete Alonso homer tonight. It's your top price guy. Where would you look to go to next?
Probably Torque. And Wilmer would probably be the next 2 I'd go to. Definitely have interest in Contreras if he plays. He's been out dealing with the back for a couple days. It says here in the note that he's possibly willing to return or possibly going to return. We talked about O'Hearn. Dude, he has been legitimately awesome. This has kind of been an ongoing thing for the last couple of years. It hasn't been this is absurd. He is reaching new heights for Ryan O'Hearn.
And StatCast page says it's all legit too.
It's all legit. And boy, do the Royals wish they had this version of whenever he.
And they hit him anywhere from 3rd to 5th in their lineup too. So depending on who's on the mound.
I mean, multi-hit games, power, multi-position eligibility, and he gets a guy who's just skating by the skin of his teeth. Derek Fetty stuff is one of the most unfathomable luck stretches we've had. So I love how cheap Baltimore is, and that includes Ryan O'Hearn.
Fetty versus lefties this year. Obviously, the numbers good because of what he is sort of surface level produced, but it got a 492 xFIP against left-handed pitch hitting on the year. I know you have the expected ISO numbers probably handy for you there. But again, almost a 5 xFIP against left-handed hitters on the year. So
212 expected ISO. His ISO allowed is only 130. His WOBA to lefties 290, John, 373 expected WOBA. It's 80 points of a difference. Like that, a 236 BABIP, 8% swinging strike rate. Like, how? Please.
Yeah, he's gonna potentially get killed in this start here. Again, I also like the offense in the other side of that matchup. Burleson at 39 against Morton.
Looks great.
Can go there if you're a believer in the Pope. You have Jake Berger, $3,700.
Pope is real. I believe that he's real.
Well, if you believe in the Pope's powers.
If you believe in the Pope's powers, right. Well, that's different. The Pope is real. I believe
the Pope is a real
he's a person
person. If you believe Jake Berger saying that the success is due to the fact that the Pope
there you go.
There.
You got to specify, dude. Those are two different things, okay?
Those are this isn't. We're not going to get into the religion.
Yes, no religion. Just saying, no. Yes,
not talking baseball here. All right. Colt Keys 3K. Justin Turner hit like 6 today, I think, or something.
No, can't do it. He hasn't.
He got pinch hit for it as well.
Oh, he homered. Oh my god, dude. He homered.
Yeah.
Well, he had gone almost 80 at bats without homering. I thought he was.
I know, but he's been slightly better lately.
He's back. Oh, he's so good.
They did again pinch hit for him in this game.
Okay.
I don't know the reason for it, but against a lefty, like he'll probably be in the lineup against Palmquist. So, I don't know.
Would you rather a 3K Colt Keith if he hits third, or a 2,800 Justin Turner if he hits sixth?
Justin Turner, I think. Against Palmquist?
Yeah.
There's a chance that Birdsong goes out there and pitches well. There's no chance that Palmquist pitches well.
Don't do that. No.
There is 0.0% chance.
No.
That Palmquist pitches well against the Cubs here.
Now I have to pitch him.
0.0.
I'm pitching him. That's it. Just kidding. I'm not pitching him, but I don't do that. Please don't do that.
Abraham Toro's been good for Boston because why not? $2,400.
I remember the stretch he had a couple years ago for Seattle. He just randomly was good.
Good. Look at that.
No, he's been good.
He's been good. He's a switch hitter. Gonna get Patrick here. I don't know what side is his strong side. Left side. Strong side.
There's nice. I do know that. I do know that movie reference. Also, sidebar.
Yeah.
For all those that watch the show will get this by now. I brought up. It was my week. It was my turn to pick up a movie.
Yeah, did you get Office Space?
Well, we didn't end up watching. We watched the trailer for Office Space, and my wife was like, "Nah, don't want to watch it." And then we moved on. So
you have to.
It's not going to be off. It's not going to be Office Space. I promise.
That is unfortunate. You're going to have to. I don't know. Get some headphones. Watch it yourself. It's a grand old time there. Against right-handed pitching, Abraham Toro, 290 with a 968 OPS and a 410 WOBA. So,
oh yeah, okay. Well, if
Toro time, Toro time.
Nice. Hashtag that.
Yeah. Anyways, the side note here, since Bobby Dahlbeck's on the screen, the White Sox, before releasing Bobby Dahlbeck, called the Red Sox, said, "Hey, you just lost Tristan Casas. Are you interested in Bobby Dahlbeck?" And they said, "Nope."
That's hilarious.
So that's too bad. Anyway, second base, Brandon Donovan against Morton feels good. I like that.
Would just like to point out, all it took for Alex Bregman to lose his second base eligibility was to go to the IL.
Was an injury? Yeah, that's true. Injury that's going to cost him at least 2 months, from what some reports have said.
No IL though. He's feeling good. Boston is you guys are hilarious. I just want to point it out. It's hilarious over there.
No, he's on the IL.
No, I know, but originally he's like, "No, I'm good. It's going to be a couple days."
Yeah, and then he had an MRI and he woke up the next day and it was terrible. So
you guys are hilarious.
They said that it's similar to the injury he suffered like 3 years ago, and he missed over 2 months. So whatever. Good. They called that Marcelo Mayer. Thank God.
That's true.
And the Pope. So Nico Horner is $4,300.
Shout out Jake Berger.
To get him against Palmquist, who absolutely will not pitch well in this game. Jackson Holiday.
I don't know why you're doing this, but
Jackson Holiday, $4,100. Again, great player, #1 prospect, #1 pick. Now the #1 hitter in that lineup, and they're looking good with it. So $4,100 for him checks out. I mean, McNeil, if you're not in on Hauser, obviously, and his poor peripheral numbers in that shutout start.
Yep.
The
answer, by the way, to Friday's question was Ronald. To my Acuna home run.
First pitch.
It took one pitch to the question.
I did answer correctly, which Acuna was going to do it.
Yes.
And then he homered the next night.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
So
seems
just
good.
To reiterate, the better Acuna.
Yes.
Is Ronald. Colkey's here, Massey.
Lennon Sosa. You talked about the White Sox that are actually doing the thing. Lennon Sosa is really good.
I'm just saying the number of times we've White Sox on the slate, throw the pitcher against them, and then it hasn't been as of a sure thing.
They did not have let's just say they did not have a lot of this young talent last year. I mean, at least Cuero and Midroff, those two players did not exist.
And Miguel Vargas seems to care this year.
And Miguel Vargas cares, right?
Which is useful.
Yeah.
And maybe Luis Robert will start to care.
No, that's obvious.
Okay, I tried. Third base.
He's obviously not. He does not care. That guy's gone.
Rafael Devers. What an a-hole this man is.
Dude, brutal day today. I mean, what? Dean Kramer has not gotten a lefty out all year. And Jarren Duran was on in front of him 4 times today.
4 for 4.
Was on 4 times in front of him.
Yeah. He struck out on a splitter down and away today that he had absolutely zero chance of touching. He was flat-footed, and he flailed his arms at it like he wasn't expecting the splitter. But I don't know what pitch he could have expected with the way he swung at that pitch. So super frustrating. Could have had a nice little takedown on underdog today. Had Devers just done absolutely anything like we'd expect. That said, would still go back to him against 100%, Patrick. 100%. No problem there. Chapman against Montero. Good. Get San Francisco out of San Francisco in a better hitting ballpark. Potential for some offense there. Arenado, Michael Garcia. You can play. Ooh, Matt Vierling's back, huh?
Yeah, he led off on Sunday, John.
Vierling's kind of an interesting cat.
Yeah,
I like them getting another right-handed hitter in their lineup.
Yeah, hit 7th in his return and then hit 1st on Sunday.
Were they facing a lefty on
No,
Sunday?
They had Carpenter day off. Okay. But I assume did they face a lefty on Sunday? Who did they face? Skubal versus they did, Logan Allen.
Okay. Yeah, Vierling should probably be their leadoff guy against righties.
No, against lefties.
Lefties, rather. Some power and some speed with Matt Vierling.
Yeah, good year last year, right? He had a good season last year.
Yeah, well, they might have a little problem when they get Parker Meadows back too. So
he's on his rehab right now.
Yeah.
So it's for sure going to be interesting who's in and who's out of the lineup, because Riley Green's never coming out of the lineup. Glaber's never coming out of the lineup. Everyone else seems to be fair game. Torque's not coming out of the lineup. Those 3 players are not coming out of the lineup. So,
is Meadows a lefty as well?
Yes, Meadows is a lefty as well.
Okay, so they just have a lot of lefties, but he's in their rehab. So 2nd-round pick for Meadows, another guy with some real power in that.
Yeah, really fast too.
Yeah,
really fast.
Again, Tigers first place, and dude. I don't know if the radar guns were broken in Detroit.
The Skubal 102.
The 103 to end the game.
Yeah, and the 102 in the 7th to end. I mean, he's ridiculous.
Is that is he really throwing 103 miles an hour?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing?
Yeah,
That late, that's Verlander-esque back in the day.
That is, in a
ninth inning, throwing as hard as he has all game.
The uni fits there, right? The Verlander in the Tigers uni too.
Yeah. Anyways, Detroit, first place team, and then getting healthier. Kind of good there. Josh Jung's been really good. I know Gossman, again, is coming off of a good start, but Young, if Texas can ever figure out how to hit their lineup. Matt Shaw's been good since getting called back up. Like that for him against Palmquist there. They're hitting him at the bottom of the lineup. I don't know how much longer that will actually. I guess they can't really find. If they're hitting Justin Turner 6th, they can hit Matt Shaw 6th.
Dude, if they're not hitting Pete Crow Armstrong in the top 4, Nobody's moving up.
Yeah,
There's no chance that guy is going to win. There's legitimate likeness to Pete Crow Armstrong MVP.
I sent a screenshot the other day that he's got more RBIs than Aaron Judge. He's like 3 less home runs. And actually, since I dropped him in our Roto League, when he had 0 home runs and 5 RBIs, he has more home runs and RBIs than Aaron Judge.
No, he is legitimately right now, and there's obviously a long season left, an MVP candidate.
Dude, he's might go 30-30.
30-50.
Yeah, for sure. 30 hit tool.
30 hit tool. Yeah, sure.
Mind.
Yeah.
Miguel Vargas is 34. Yeah. He's been good. Vientos.
Vargas has been great, but I'll say great lately. Great.
Yeah, listen, I've been talking him up for what feels like a week plus now. I was a top prospect in the Dodgers organization. They were just like, we have Mookie Betts playing your position now. Sorry, like we can't play you anymore.
Yep.
And then they traded him to the White Sox, and he cried in the dugout.
That was the Kopech trade, right?
Yes, that sounds correct. They called him Nick Lofton. They also designated Kevin Biggio, Kansas City.
I mean, yeah.
Do you think our guy Jack's coming up?
Caglione?
4 homers in 6 games.
I know he's sicko. Probably.
Absolute nut. I mean, dude, I don't know what these teams are waiting for. The Angels had Shane Newell play immediately.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
All of them. I think Neto
Romero played like right away. Like they all spent
Nick Kurtz,
minimal. Yeah.
Nick Kurtz.
They played minimal time at the minor leagues.
Yep. It's the new thing.
Caglioni's out there knocking homers off every level.
It's not gonna be much longer.
Anyways, Beatty's been good lately. Got him against Hauser at 31. Mayer, as I mentioned, 3K. 2 hits today after striking out in his first 3 at bats in his debut. Not what you wanted to see there, but to be fair, they put him in lefty right away, and it happens.
Yeah.
Toro can play here. Anything else?
No, the Beatty Meyer tier looks great.
Yeah. Again, Beatty, big power numbers. I mean, and Hauser's not good enough to get him out.
No, he's not.
Shortstop, Elliott 6K, Bobby Witt at $5,900, Lindor 55, Dansby Swanson 47, Gunnar Henderson at 43.
Yeah, dude.
$100. I mean, Mason Wynn play 4K and up. 4K and up.
4K and up. No wrong answer. Adames against a righty away from San Francisco.
Yeah, on tighter.
All of them. Mydroff at 3,700.
Yeah.
I will say this: we haven't mentioned Colorado. Almost a guarantee, Taillon gives up a home run. He gives up a lot of home runs.
I'm curious what the weather is going to be like in Chicago, right? If we have wind blowing out tomorrow, let's see.
If there's wind blowing out, then we have to change our mindset.
It doesn't say wind. It says 10 miles an hour, and I don't know what direction. So,
and the over/under is at 8 in that game. Usually, an indication that there's not wind. But Jameson Taillon home runs allowed, John. His last 4 starts, 1, 3, 4, 1. He has allowed 14 home runs in 10 starts. Yeah. He has a home run issue. You want to talk about home run problems? That's a home run problem. 14 in 10 starts. That's a lot. That might lead baseball. I don't know who leads baseball, but
did he pitch in one of those crazy win games?
No, he gave up 4 bombs to the Marlins, I think. And it wasn't, or to the Mets. It was the Mets start
So it could very well be Tovar. Taillon versus right-handed hitters, 578 slugging, 370 WOBA, 2.9 homers per 9.
That's a lot.
To righties. It is 1.7 homers per 9 to lefties,
which is still a lot.
But the rest of the numbers actually look pretty good for him. Just a 400 slug, 290 WOBA, 200 batting average. So righties are doing a lot of damage.
Tovar, Goodman, Beck. One of the, if you're playing any of that's your only options there.
Yeah. Again, you can play Mayer here. That's Mateo if he's in the lineup, I guess, just for some speed.
Yeah, he's running a lot lately.
Right, 5 stolen bases in the last 10 games. So
he's running.
All right, outfield we go. Tucker, Pete Crow, Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki. Doesn't speak much
Hey,
for
what
Palmquist.
Is there something like similar about all three of those players?
Yeah, there are the 3, 4, 7 hitters for the Cubs there.
Dude, just click through their numbers. That it is absolutely, they're all of them at the same time are just absolutely demolishing baseballs.
It makes you wonder if they're even going to pay Kyle Tucker, knowing that Pete Crow Armstrong's doing what he's doing.
Like that, he's Kyle. He's a
why pay
he's
Kyle Tucker $400 million?
Well, what if they win the World Series? It's like, well,
yeah. I mean, obviously, it never in a million years would ever happen. But like, if you're the Cubs, like, do you like trade Kyle Tucker at the trade deadline? You know, like, hey, we're not going to re-sign you. You know, some other team will take you and give us a whole lot.
Go get an ace.
Go get pitcher. Like Pete Crow's doing this. Seiya's doing this. Call up like Alcantara from AAA. You know, like have him.
Go get Hunter. Go get like Hunter Green from the Reds or something.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you don't think you're going to pay him, another team will pay you for him. So, obviously, would literally never ever happen. But I'm just saying, you know, I don't think they ever expected Pete Armstrong to be out producing Kyle Tucker here.
Hey, Luka Doncic got traded this year.
It's true.
John,
he sure did.
That was a 25-year-old.
Absolute
first team. Any trade in the history of sports is now on the table.
Now doable. Yeah, that's true. We almost had a Manny for A-Rod trade or something like that, didn't we, back in the day or something like that? Or
there was
A-Rod going to the Red Sox.
A-Rod going to the Red Sox
almost happened. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Seiya is also awesome. Soto's fine in that matchup specifically.
Yep.
Nootbaar, Hayes, Duran had 4 hits today. Friedel, Lorenzen good against lefties, I guess. Sedmo.
Yep.
Willer's kind of sucked, but he's got power.
Dude, but he does this. Like, he does nothing, and then he hits 2 home runs. And you're like, oh, right. Or he homers and steals a base. You're like, oh, right.
I think it was who's one of the beat writers? Someone leaked today or tweeted today that the Padres are looking for outfield help. And someone like retweeted like Red Sox because obviously they're trying to get Roman Anthony.
Right.
And like Willier would be just an easy trade to get value back.
Right.
We'll see if
pitching
actually.
Randy Vasquez is available, I heard. He's good. 3 ERA, right? I mean,
whenever we stack against him, it doesn't work. So I don't know. Again, Sedmo's there. Baez back. Carpenter. Lee at 43 is fine.
Yep.
I still wouldn't be afraid of going again with Luis Robert here.
Well, Godspeed, brother. No, he was fine. He had a good weekend. He just needs, if he's on base, he's stealing. So
yeah.
I mean, almost every game that he has been on lately, he's stolen a base. If you just look through the logs, like it's actually crazy. So if he gets on, he's going. Like I would probably rather play like in this price range, Jung-Hoo Lee / Heliot Ramos / O'Hearn.
Sure.
Probably would be like, especially against Montero. And then O'Hearn obviously has the eligibility, but Robert is going to be 1%. He'll be 1% rostered because people are going to play Clay Holmes.
Sure. Victor Scott has some speed. You got Morton here. Allie Rutschman also got hurt today, so like they may, backup catcher, maybe more likely to steal bases.
Sure.
Talked Verling already. Haggerty will continue to guess leadoff.
He leads off against lefties.
Okay.
I think they'll hit Josh. They'll probably hit Josh.
Oh,
Smith.
Josh Smith up there. Yeah, that's true. Benintendi, 35. He's off the IL. Talkman the other day hit second. Remember?
Yeah, we got the Talkman shout.
Yeah, he's again another guy. Like, sure, like these they're all going to throw a bunch of lefties at Clay Holmes, I guess. Raphael has been okay lately. Jordan Walker.
We don't have our Cam Smith, so I'm kind of lost here. I don't know.
Dude, I played Cam Smith today at like $2,600. He was great.
3 hits again.
Yeah.
Heston, he's bad. He hasn't done anything.
No.
There's
Matthews down here.
Class A would be a decent punt, but he's up against DeGrom.
Yeah, DeGrom, yeah.
Did you see Dylan Carlson homered on Sunday?
Dude, yes. I actually had him in my lineup because he was $2,000, but then I made some other pivots and took him out, which was pretty big sad for me.
He can't hit lefties, but he can't hit from the left side. If you remember his entire career, his splits have only been good from the right side, but it is at least
he did homer off of a righty today.
He did homer. That is the one.
He's also just not a good player anymore, but
no,
again,
he is not.
I'd be willing to. Maybe he sticks it to revenge narrative here.
What about Austin? Yeah, sure. What about Austin Slater if he plays? He homered on Sunday again, lefty. Another guy. No, he's not on the team.
Anymore.
Yeah,
I'm with the Angels. Yeah,
that was a flame out of every degree because he made the team out of spring last year and then he stunk and then
he was in the futures game and all this other stuff and he just never figured it out. So, all right, do we do the double spend?
I kind of want to test that because I think there was
Mayer at short, I guess, or do you want Mayer at third?
I want Beatty at third. I think.
Beatty. I guess we don't have to use Mayer. I just thought he was cheap, but Beatty's kind of the same price, I guess. If we want to just try and jam, where's Reese McGuire?
Probably not even in the pool.
He's not in the pool. Come on, he'll be added. He'll be added for me.
Yeah.
All right. So
if we let's see, what's another spend down position here? Because also if we we
could do Lennon Sosa at $2,900.
Man, you're right on the Dansby point, and that kind of makes me want to play Matt Shaw too. If we wanted to play more, because that's another Cub that we can get to. That's actually affordable. It's just not affordable.
Do Ryan O'Hearn.
It's a good one. Damn, I wish we could play Gunner. I want to play Gunner.
I wish we could play Cam Smith.
Yeah, true.
We can play you, dude. I'm good playing Gunner here. We don't have to play Dansby. I think Fetty is terrible. And
what would Seiya get us? Seiya's so good against lefties, dude.
33.50.
Let's see. Is that doable? What we didn't have any. We didn't get any punts.
Again, the obvious move is to get off of Crochet and play.
No, I know. I was just also hoping to, because I do kind of like that. That's possibly 65 fantasy points. DeGrom Crochet is 65 fantasy points, dude.
Talkman.
Do you punt Dylan Carlson 22?
I feel less. I would rather play Drew Waters.
I think they hit Waters 5th today, by the way.
Yeah. And then again, $3,500 outfielder, Benny Biceps. Go with Lennon Sosa, a little 2-man. He hasn't been as good.
He's had no biceps.
He played 3 games since he got called up. He had 2 hits and 2 RBIs in one of them.
Benny, no biceps.
You tell me. Do we have?
Just go move off Crochet.
Actually, hold on. O'Hearn can go to the outfield.
Okay, I like that. Ooh,
35. Mountcastle, Vargas, Salvi.
the Mountcastle correlates. Vargas correlates. I think Mountcastle's been freaking terrible.
Yeah, he's not
been horrible. He's been horrible.
He has not been good. Jordan Walker's been okay lately. 375, 958.
Yeah.
Do we have a $3,700 first baseman? Vinny Paz versus Martinez or $3,700?
Wait, the Pope.
What's Doyle lefty? We get Doyle. Doyle out of course.
Oh, he's so bad at course. But righty, but it's the righty against. It is the righty.
You think one of them hits it? I guess. Yeah. Where's the Pope at? Where's Burger?
37.
I don't really want to do that. Let's just go Salvador Perez.
Okay. Sure. Double catcher with the Cub with the Royals.
And Drew Waters.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how we ended up. Let's just not do that and move off one of the pitchers.
I want DeGrom here. Because I don't know what Crochet is going to do. I don't know what he's going to do.
We're just going to go Tyone? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot more money. That's way
Yeah.
better. Now you could play O'Hearn back at first. And then do whatever we want in the outfield.
Almost. 52.
Duran as a one-off.
Yeah. I was going to say, can we get like anything
up to PC? You could do you could probably get up to PCA if you wanted to go back to Marcelo Meyer. Or you can get up to Tucker if you wanted to get.
No, I'm good with Shaw.
No, at short, if you wanted to come off Gunnar.
Dude, I'm telling you, I like Gunnar.
Yeah, I like the Orioles lefties too.
Well,
why don't you then go up to Holiday at second?
Okay. Yeah. Good call.
And then we don't have to spend.
Yeah, let's play Burleson.
Yeah, Burleson's been great, dude.
Yeah. All right. So then we get Tyon, DeGrom, Fermin, O'Hearn, Holiday, Shaw, Henderson, Seiya, Burleson, and Waters. Yeah?
Good. Yeah.
Right. Example lineup for you guys. Again, no live show on Monday with the holiday and the main slate being during the day. Playbook will be out. We'll be back for the preview show on Tuesday, everybody. Until then, good luck.